Welcome to Wa-Keepin It Real with Wakenya and T.
Can you believe that this is our 7th episode?
It's like hard to believe, but it's a reality because we set out to do this.
Right.
And we've been consistent with it.
Yes.
And I am just excited about how it's developing and growing.
And we're enjoying it.
Yes.
And we're getting from it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, we said in several of, if not all the episodes, that we're women of God. And 7 is God's number of completion.
Yeah.
And so I'm just looking forward to more and more and more.
Yeah.
Now, with that completion, we do have special guests here with us. And we don't really have to introduce them, but it's our spouses and their friends. So with that, we hope you enjoy.
Yeah. Enjoy. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You're going to have to tell us so, and they just going to see it on the inside. It's going just by the sheer nature of your walking life, it's going to come on the outside. And that's what more of what we as men and brotherhood need to do. We need to show those things that we carry on the inside. Not that you didn't have to say a word. Let it show on the outside. Let that light that's already illuminated on the inside come on the outside. And when we do that, all those demonstrations where you're talking about where the young men, they can see this and they're gone. If they see it in our walk, then they know it exists. Because I see it every day in this particular person. The one that I call dad, the one I call brother, sister, cousin, uncle, whoever. I see it.
Hello, welcome to Wa-Keepin It Real with Isaac Leonard,
Albert Smith,
Steve Thomas,
Jeffrey Green.
Well, Jeff, welcome to the show. Tell a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Jeff, like he said. I'm a married man to Keisha. We have 8 kids, and I'm just happy to be on this show today.
Now, what do you do for a living, sir?
Well, I drive trucks. I interact with a lot of people around town. I've been doing that for probably 20 plus years, about 25 years.
Okay. Any hobbies?
Well, I like to communicate with people. I do a little bowling here and there. Just different things I like to do.
Okay. Good deal. And I'd like to present to Sam, Brother Steve Thomas.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Thomas. Well, I'm a married man over 30 plus years to a beautiful, lovely lady, Yasmin Thomas. I am currently I still work for the government, haven't retired as of yet. That's in the near future. However, I write government contracts for the government. Been doing that for over almost 20 years past retirement. Plus, I just enjoy just life, experiencing day to day. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. You just have to fulfill that day that you're in, and don't worry about what's going to take place for tomorrow.
Good.
Tomorrow will fulfill itself.
Absolutely. So, guys, let's get started. At any time you want to jump in, what does a true brotherhood look like to you?
Jeff, you want that one?
A true brotherhood to me is somebody that you can count on. No matter where you are in life, a brotherhood should be something that's just genuine and true. You don't have to be fake to be a part of a brotherhood. I like somebody that's true to me. And, you don't have to change because of your work status, your education. A brotherhood is just something that you can just bond together no matter who you are.
I think also to add to that, I think a brotherhood is men of common interests. We have established a brotherhood where we do breakfast and we do lunch and sometimes, but for the most part, we have a group of men that come together with the same common interests, and there's a lot of unity to it. We had breakfast this morning, and there was a lot of conversation going on, but for the most part, we all seemed to be in sync, in unity, to where everybody was happy to see one another. We laughed, we talked, we prayed together. We even sung sung together this morning, which was different but exciting, because nobody shied away. Everybody was just being themselves. So I think for brotherhood, it's men to come together with a common interest.
I agree with you. I truly believe that from the brotherhood standpoint, I mean, it's you have to make that interconnection. I can see you uh, from afar, uh, but I think when you're dealing with on the brotherhood thing, we're talking about bringing them a whole lot closer. You have to be able to touch and agree on specific topics with the brother, and sometimes you can share things with uh, your brother that's not even a brother by blood. Some things you might be able to expand or talk or release or speak on that you wouldn't even want to reveal to some of your family members, because sometimes you get a different perspective on life, and it give you a much broader perspective of what the topic or the subject is for that moment. So brotherhood is extremely important, even more so nowadays, because there's a lot of younger brothers that are out there that don't have anybody.
That's correct.
And they need somebody that at least have developed and got the foundation. And then once you start building upon whatever that foundation is, it grows strong. And a lot of people don't have that. They don't have somebody they can turn to and be able to talk and discuss various different topics too, or just to explain to somebody, what you're going through, how your day is going. So I think that's extremely important. And then a brother has to be somebody that I can place my trust in my deepest thoughts and feelings with, not with the expectation that they're going to be ridiculed, or it's going to be the information that you might pass on to a brother might be something that's near and dear to you. You don't want to go no further than that.
That's correct.
But that brother's going to essentially know and have that understanding. They're going to leave that specific topic right there between you and I, and then we're going to build on the travel from that. So that's what we don't have a lot of. And a lot of people or young folks now, they don't see that. So that's where we got to go back and instill into some of the younger folks come up behind us those very same things, because that part of the foundation is missing in society today.
That's right.
But I'm listening to you saying a lot of younger people. And when I think about younger people, we don't give them the opportunity to. Because once you get older, you start to forget where you come from.
That's right.
And welcoming somebody to the brotherhood, you got to allow them to make mistakes. And then, and I think about myself, I had a real near dear friend that died back in 2017. And I could talk to him about anything. Mm-hmm. Now, it's hard to find somebody. Now, you have friends, but you're really talking about a true brotherhood. Somebody you can take something to, and somebody that has been through some of the situation that you have been through. And it gets real good to you then, because somebody has been in that situation, or you can relate closer to it. You don't necessarily have to have been in that situation, but you have some experience dealing with it. Okay. That's what I think.
Yes.
All right. I mean, you brothers have been touched on quite a bit. And I do like what you do, Abba, this thing that we do every once a month, because in that setting, a lot of different things, a lot of different topics, and I take in a lot from those, different scenarios or conversations that we have, I mean, it brings me up to speed a lot of times, because some things I'm not aware of. And, and some of those conversations that we have with the brothers that we meet with, it's good. And I enjoy seeing you guys.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. Do you all think that with our brotherhood, are we bridging the gap, or what are we missing? During our time together, or planning to be together, something that Steve touched on. I feel like there's a lot of things we can do. Going back to the youth, there are opportunities out here for us to. I think we've established from the guy's standpoint. So what else can we do to reach out to our youth?
I think along the line what you're talking about, because it used to be before COVID and all those other things came around, we were going and gathering, getting the young men and bringing them to the breakfast and things like that. Because but when the pandemic came along and dealing close in a relation with younger children that kind of like hands off and everybody kind of like shied away. But no one has ventured back to that direction to try to implement and bring those younger folks back into the fold of what we were actually talking and planning to demonstrate and show them first and foremost on how they should conduct themselves as young men and move forward. And then again, we also have to, sometimes we might have to take our settings outside of our comfort zone. And by that I mean we have to go outside of, we meet at the diner and those places. Those are kind of like some of the safer places. But one of the remarkable things that I found out, early on when I first got to Columbus, I started doing some work, volunteer work with the downtown at the homeless shelter. And, when down there, you'd be amazed at how many people you see down there. And there's been some people that I've seen that attended our church as well that come that stays down there at the homeless shelter. Because they check their little room out from day to day. They go in and they give them their provisions for the day, and then they leave. But a lot of times, like I said, you don't know nobody's walk until you kind of like got closer and more in depth to them. But I saw some people that were going and experiencing, and if you never visit one of those particular places and saw the people that actually stay there on a regular basis, you wouldn't know what their walk was about.
Right.
And you can see them on the everyday street, they just as calm, just like you and I sitting right here right now, but you don't know what the other side of the picture is. And that kind of like heightened my awareness to there's a problem in this particular part of the land, just like in all the other parts of the land. Like I said, the poor is going to be with you always. But we just have to be a better person, because if a poor person came into the room like right now and they sat amongst you, and first thing in our mind said is, oh, they're gonna be stinky, they're gonna be smelly. That's not always the case.
Right.
You can have somebody that has still has some their basic fundamental skills with them, and they will take care of themselves to the best of their ability,
Right.
and they seem like normal people. But again, if you look at them a little bit closer and take time to know that person instead of just superficially seeing them on the outside, if you get to know them, you'll find out some people are going through some really, really hard struggles, and some of us got it so good.
Mm.
And from just being in the military, traveling abroad, you just seen other foreign countries that you wouldn't even imagine.
Right.
So we have to take those factors into account as well. There's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff, and we don't know what their situations are. We just gotta try to uplift all of them as we go along on our journey.
That's true. So with that said, what type of friend are you? A listener, loyal, social connector, motivating, or etc.? Just how would you classify yourself as the friend that you are?
I classify myself as a listener. I learned that in my journey from being in different positions as supervisor, my position in the church as a leader. Most of the time that's what people need, somebody to listen to. Because most of the time if we listen to them, and I've been in a situation where I listen to people and they, basically when they hear themselves, because most of the time if they have someone that, let's say a spouse, and you having that conversation, as from my standpoint, they're gonna be trying to resolve that issue. But if you listen to that person, they talk long enough, they can hear what they're saying. They say, "Wow," so this, and they can resolve their own issues almost, from them talking. Somebody listening to them.
Okay, I'm gonna say that I'm a good listener. I will listen to you all day long. If you want to call somebody and talk to them, call and talk to them. I'll listen to your problems. I'm a loyal friend. If you need somebody to stick with you, whatever time of the day and night it is, you call me. I'm going to answer my phone. Try to if I wake up. And I'm very social. I socialize with everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. I will socialize with you. And then, motivated. I'm always trying to motivate people. But connector is not really what I am. Just like you, Brother Ab, I think that you're a good connector, because I look at the fact, I know I'm talking about me, but I mentioned you. I look at that connector, and that connector, bringing people together, inviting people to different type things. That's not really what I do. Now, if you volunteer to come on your own, I mention it to you, and you say, "Oh man, I think I want to check." You can do that, but connect is not what I am. But the rest of them, I think I'm pretty good at that.
I'll follow that same as Jeff. I don't see myself in one particular category. I'm a mixture of a whole bunch of them. And that is because you try to refine yourself as you go through life. And when you pick up different skills or traits along the way, you want to share those along with the people that you come in contact with along the way. Because if it's something new to me, I'm great. I'm into it. But at the same time, I don't want to hold it, keep it for myself. I want to share it with others as I go along. Because you never know the things that you have learned along the journey might help and benefit somebody else on there. So that way, you have to try to be a whole bunch of different things to kind of mold yourself. Because iron sharpens iron, and if you just keep striving to see and do better, the better off you'll be, and you keep evolving.
Sure. So I think, and I appreciate you all saying what you're saying about me. I feel like some of my strong points is motivating, connecting people together, and that seems to. And I'm gonna say this: it runs in my family. I watch and I learn a lot from my wife. She's definitely a connector. She connects people together. She motivates them. She encourages them. And encouraging is, no matter what we talk about today, the word encouraging probably should be one of the most used words, because we are here to uplift and encourage at all times.
Right.
I look at my growth in life and what God has brought me, and He ain't through with me. And He has done so much, and I thank Him every day for the gifts that I think that He has blessed me with.
Don't testify.
And I'm so thankful for Him, and I'm just excited to be among men who, once again, going back to that common goal, common interest. If I feel like any of you all, especially on this panel today, that if something was going on, I would be there. Now, I talked about my strong point. Probably my weakest point is something I definitely need to get better at, being a better listener, because I tend to, if you're sharing something with me, I tend to maybe overtalk you or cut you off. So I feel like my strong point is connecting, motivating, and my weak point is listening. I feel like.
How important are your relationship with those you call brother?
I think they're extremely important. And I say that because when you look out in society and the world today, friends come short and few. I mean, if you find a true good friend, I think it's extremely important that you keep that person close in your life, because there's going to come a time when everybody going to be hating on everybody. And if you look at society and the world today, it's almost close and near to that right now. So if you find a good friend or a good brother along the way, you wanna keep that brother close, because you never know, he might fall, you might fall. You always want to have somebody that's gonna be real with you and real with the other one, in both ways. So it's important to keep good people around in your life, because there's so many bad people that cling and hang on to you, but you want to turn them loose and keep the good ones closer to you. So I think it's extremely important.
When I look at that thing when it says how important is the relationship with those you call a brother, I come up, I have 4 actual brothers, and we don't always have the best of relationship. So when I look at this, I got to go back to that first. Regardless of how they feel about me or anything, I'm still your brother. We may have disagreements, but you're still my brother first, and I'm gonna look out for you. So being a brother is very important to me, whether it's my biological brother or y'all brothers on this panel. And if you need me, I'm there. Regardless of how we have had disagreements in life, I'm still your brother first. And so it's very important to me.
I've heard a couple brothers in our brotherhood say, you know, man, my wife get on me because I don't reach out to the men like they reach out to one another. And that's so true, because I think men are not. I don't know what the word that I'm looking for. It's not a touchy feeling, but we're just not intentional to reach out to one another.
Yeah.
As maybe as often as we should.
Yeah.
But if something's going on among us, I feel like we can pick up that phone and reach out to my brother, and he'll be there for you.
But that's why I think that connect to come back in. You know, I think about you. You know, you connect guys together. If you know that somebody else is having something going on, you know, while Isaac may not be able to pick up the phone and call me, you may be saying, hey, man, Isaac got this right here going on, and I'm right there. I think about a situation, it's been some years ago. You had a shed at your house that needed to be moved. And I saw some brothers come together that day. And I looked and I was like, man, that shed's sitting over there and you want it over there. And I'm like, man, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
Man, I seen guys take pipes, jacks,
Yeah.
or whatever it was, and made the thing happen. So, you know, you connected everybody together where we may be a little slow at doing this.
Right.
You know, whoever's the strong connector have to keep people connected together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't know how them houses got moved.
They got moved. We worked it out though.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And you know, we talking about jacks. Guys were steady coming up with trying to come up with solutions.
Right.
Some got in the way, but we worked it out though.
Yeah, because I mean, with all us together, with all our thoughts together, we came up with a plan, and we made it happen.
Yeah.
And I thank God for the relationship between my wife and your wife. I mean, that's how we met.
That's
you know, which connected me to other brothers in this group. You know, otherwise I wouldn't have met. But brotherhood to me, like I got a friend that we might maybe talk every 6 months, sometime longer. But when I call him, it's no, you know, man, why you ain't get in touch with me? It's none of that, you know, because we have that relationship. And sometimes when it says important to connect with your brother, I like if I have an issue with me and why can't you have an issue? We talk it out. But if I don't feel that, I don't talk to another man. I talk to my sister.
Right.
I learned a long time ago not to take advice from a man. My brother gave me some advice when I married to my former wife. Bad advice, because he was telling me what he would do.
Mm-hmm.
He don't know how a woman think. So when I was in the military, this older woman said, anytime you want to know something about a woman, don't go to a man. Because he can only tell you what he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
But a woman can tell you
What it is.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. If I'm having some issue and me and her in that disagreement, I don't, you know, when I talk to my sister, I don't go and say, you know, why can't you do, you know, that's what I don't do. Because she'll correct me. If I do come that way, she'll
gonna
correct
keep it real.
She gonna keep it real. By keeping it real. And that's what she gonna do.
Right.
So sometimes, you know, when in that situation, that's just me. I'm not gonna ask Albert, you know. Now if it's relatable, I'll ask Albert and you'll say, well, and you'll tell me too. Now, brother, you shouldn't do that now. You know, so but most of the time I'm gonna talk to my sister and she gonna leave because she's a lot like my mom. My mom was very neutral. She's not gonna take your side. She said, all right, hold on a minute now. And she'll tell me, you know. And that's what, you know. So, you know, it's very important to have a relationship with brothers. And like I say, we're not that type, you know. Every time something come out, I don't know what it is, but we don't reach out to each other in that way so many times.
But we do reach out when it's needed.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because sometimes I just call you out the blue. You know.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So
I think that, you know, like this brotherhood thing should, in our reality, it should spread like the word of God. It should spread like the word of God. I mean, that should just take off from one continent to the next continent, from one household to the next continent, and just more brothers should be able to come together and sit down and find common ground and common goals than it is.
What can we do to encourage healthy relationships in society?
Openness.
That's good.
I think that a lot of times, as brothers, as men, we don't reach our comfort zone to be open and be able to expound upon, really what our true thoughts are, what our true feelings are, what's going on inside. And there's like a protective zone around people.
That's good.
Until you can speak or bring me to a level where I can get comfortable with sharing information, thoughts, just different ways of life. I can't share those things with you because most times in most areas of life, you got to put up this protective barrier guard around yourself, and inside of those confines, I feel comfortable, I feel safe.
Right.
And if anybody try to get inside of that circle, then that's where things get a little edgy. I got to be able to relax myself, to feel a comfort zone with you, to feel that you have pretty much my best interest at heart for me to lower that level in order for you to get close to me.
Right.
And so I think that's where a lot of men, because the world is getting harder and harder, and everybody's holding that defensive posture around themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowing other people to come on the inside because, again, that's just what society shows you, that it's a rough world out there, and everybody got to show this appearance of toughness in order so you won't get ran over.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you keep that line of toughness up, and you don't allow people to get close to you.
Yes, I agree with that. And, we have to allow people to make mistakes. I have some brothers that's near and dear to me. They've been to jail several times.
Mm-hmm.
But, when they get out, we don't dwell on you have been to jail.
Mm-hmm.
You got to allow them to continue to grow. And don't put ourselves on a pedestal like we're so much higher than somebody else. I was listening to you earlier saying, how can we reach out to some of the younger people, and then you say you have to go to their environment, some of their basketball games or whatever they have going on. People need to see how you act out in the public besides church.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it, I go to church quite a bit, but church is not... church is what I do. It's not just say define who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I can carry church everywhere I go.
Absolutely.
I don't have to come and tell you holy, holy, holy thou.
Yeah.
But I should be able to walk a walk of grace.
That's right.
Give my brothers some type of grace.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you made this mistake, hey man, you can dust yourself off and try it again.
Absolutely.
So we don't have enough love to me.
That's right.
We have to put more love out here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I look at it that growing up as a young man from where I come from, I didn't know how to show love.
Mm-hmm.
I came to your house one time, Brother Al. I saw you kiss your son. And this did something to me. My son was a younger child, and I had a son at an early age. So, I thought a man kissing a boy, I thought something was wrong with that. But you taught me that day, and that stuck with me. And so I tried to learn to tell my son that I love him. But, it's a hard thing. We're talking about brotherhood, but I'm talking about, brotherhood with my own son. My son is 31 years old. And we can't sit down and say, son, I love you. And if I tell him this, he going to look at me and say, Daddy, don't get soft on me now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I don't love him, but just these words don't mean too much to you have to show me that you love me.
Right.
And so, that's I feel like a lot of times love is missing and forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And to piggyback on what you said about that, because I grew up the same way, it wasn't no affection, all that,
Mm-hmm.
my dad, what you crying for,
Right.
with the men don't cry, and I grew up thinking that way,
Mm-hmm.
that men don't cry. But, and I learned that was really wrong, because men do cry.
Yes.
Yes.
Because sometimes you have to express yourself, and if you hold it in, it builds up into something else.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I get exactly where you're coming from with that. And grace, yes, that's what we need to get more of, grace.
Yes.
And I truly believe we have to you know, look at somebody, what they did is what it is, the past.
Yeah.
So, you know, give them grace and, you know, keep it moving. So,
How often do you all think we say, well, I don't judge nobody? Then a situation comes around, and before we know it, we're passing judgment.
that's right.
Yeah. And it just this human physical body.
Yes.
It's just in our nature to, even though our mouths say that I'm not going to, it's just like your parents tell you, so you don't touch it. Once you say that, just because you said it, that's you're gonna do the opposite because this flesh is gonna pull it. But see, that's where the spiritual warfare thing comes in, because you got to come outside of this physical flesh and you got to get into the spiritual realm, because in the spiritual realm we already conquered, we already won the battle.
Right.
But until you instill and you tell yourself that is exactly what it is, you're going to keep getting into these same losing thought processes.
Right.
So, but once you 100% say to yourself that, you know, that's, and just like you were saying, Jeff, you don't have to go to church. You don't have to walk around and stand on every corner saying, no, you ain't got to. It's going to be already evident in your walk.
Right.
You're going to have to tell a soul, and they just going to see it on the inside. It's going just by the sheer nature of your walking life, it's going to come on the outside. And that's what more of what we as men and brotherhood need to do.
Right.
We need to show those things that we carry on the inside. Not that you didn't have to say a word. Let it show on the outside. Let that light that's already illuminated on the inside, you come on the outside. And when we do that, all those demonstrations where you're talking about where the young men, they can see this and they've gone through, if they see it in our walk, then they know it exists.
Right.
Because I see it every day in this particular person. The one that I call dad, the one I call brother, sister, cousin, uncle, whoever, I see it in that person. So I know it exists. And then they become hungry to achieve and do those very same things. Just like TV programs, they saying all these little Xbox games and things, getting the children to go out and do bad things. If I see a positive person in my life that I want to emulate and want to follow after and do, I'm going to follow that person.
Right.
I grew up, I didn't have, when I was growing up and coming up, I didn't hang around with people that was the same age as me. Never. I never would. I always go find the older people, because that's who's going to teach me, because these guys down here on the same level with me, they're going through the same experiences I'm going through.
Right.
They can't teach me and show me nothing. I go and find these older folks than me, and they can show me and teach me things. And you got to find the right ones. You got to find those ones that putting positive influences into, that's going to instill those certain traits, and then that's how you learn.
So, guys, I think this has been a great day, a great moment of conversation. We got a ways to go, but with God, all things are possible.
Okay.
So, in closing, first of all, Jeff, I want to give you the opportunity to make any closing comments, remarks, or whatever.
A few minutes ago, you were saying something. You know that we're very judgmental by nature. You know, that can be to ourselves. You know, that doesn't look good on me. This is not right. We judge people, but we have to have that discernment too. Once we judge them, you know, we have to, you know, look at somebody and say, man, I thought Isaac was a bad guy when I first seen him, because Isaac looked kind of mean. But, you know, I was like, man, Isaac is pretty cool, you know, on down the road. But that first impression, I judged him when I first saw him, because, you know, and you know, sometimes people say, oh, man, he looks like a thug, or they look a certain kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we love to say this type of stuff, but we have to be open to listening and seeing what a person really is like, regardless of who it is. See how that person really act, and then we can get our own perception of that person. And I enjoy being with y'all. Every third Sunday, every third Saturday, I look forward to going to breakfast.
Yes.
And then when you get to breakfast, it doesn't matter who you sit by.
Right.
Everybody got some different conversation for you.
Absolutely.
And all the time, it's not, you know, anything that's bad. And like I said, it can just be a family movie that you can come home and watch with your wife.
Right.
Somebody did something different with their grandkids, or you may have taken a trip that was very interesting to me, and you're able to tell me about it. And I can go and try this myself. You know, so getting together on Saturday morning with this brotherhood is learning a lot for me, doing a lot of different things, and I enjoy that.
Well, Steve?
Well, again, just the camaraderie and the fellowship is the main thing. I agree with what Jeff is saying. I think that we can do more of it. More of it would be my suggestion moving forward.
My brother, I got one more.
Sure.
I'm glad y'all are not soft brothers. Y'all let me speak my mind. Because, you know, a lot of people wear their feelings on their shoulder.
Yes.
Now, because I'm very open and I like to discuss stuff. Sometimes I say stuff that's not always comfortable to everybody.
Right.
But y'all are not the kind that, you know, you're mad with. So, and I appreciate y'all for that.
Well, Jeff, how do you know we hadn't been mad?
Well, I mean, man, I mean, y'all probably have, but you don't hold it. And that's the thing. You don't hold grudges. You don't hold animosity. If I said the wrong thing to you, man, the next time we met up again, you treated me like you liked me. You met like you liked me.
Well, Jeff, I'm definitely co-sign to what you just said, because there are some times that I think I say some things that I probably shouldn't have said. And, you know, maybe when I leave the scene, I'm like, wow, did I really say that? And I didn't mean it the way I said it, but I said it, and they could have taken it differently than the way I, you know, sarcastic is not always good.
Mm-hmm.
Can we agree to that?
Correct.
And I can say for the most part, you know, I do that, and you know, I need to stop doing it as much, you know. So, but like I said, you know, I have enjoyed sitting around talking, and from a brotherhood standpoint, I just want y'all to know I am your brother's keeper. I just want to share.
Well, thank you for joining us on Wa-Keepin It Real, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and hit that bell for notifications.